new and experienced managers. Ooh, are you okay? And we put it together to strengthen their core leadership abilities, deepen their cross-functional knowledge, and explore the strategic connections across lines of business. So like Phil said, I've been on at AED since about January, but what I hear from time and time again is there's silos in the dealership, and we want to break down those silos and really have participants kind of move through this program and learn about all aspects of the dealership. Our sessions are going to be facilitated by industry experts and executive development professionals, and we're also going to add in keynotes from well-respected executives within the membership. Another kind of a cool aspect of this, I guess, is our leadership coaching that we're adding. So not only are we going to have people with industry knowledge and organizational development knowledge, but we're going to have professional executive coaches supporting your employees as they move through this program. And then finally, we're going to wrap everything up at the end with a capstone project. And what that does is it allows participants to take everything that they've learned and apply it to their own dealerships. Participants are the high potential managers. So these might be people who are already, a parts department manager or a branch manager or a service manager, but someone who you identified as having the potential to prepare for a broader leadership role in your organization. They will move through this program as a cohort, so there's no someone who starts with session 1 and then kind of drops out of the program. Everybody who starts the program is expected to move through it as a group. And that experience is important because they're going to build a peer network that they can then turn to with questions, ideas, if they have a problem and they want feedback. So we're really excited about that cohort aspect of the program. Program highlights. So like I mentioned, a group learning experience or a cohort learning experience. Workshops are going to be very interactive, and like I said, they are going to be facilitated by industry experts. We want to explore those key synergies across all aspects of your business, so sales, service, parts, rental, finance, and administration. I mentioned the capstone where they get to apply their learning. We're also excited about the AED Leadership Excellence 360 feedback. So if you guys aren't familiar with 360 feedback assessments, you get feedback from all the people who know you best. So your manager, your subordinates, yourself. You can see how you kind of view yourself and then how others view you. And we're going to use that assessment and the preview assessment to really build a foundational knowledge of where you're at as a leader, so that so that our facilitators have something to build off of, and you can see your own growth throughout the program. We're going to have one-on-one coaching, so every participant will be assigned a coach, and these people are going to hold them accountable to their individual development plan. So they're going to come in, they're going to take these assessments, kind of get a baseline of where they're at, and then with the coach put together an individual development plan or an IDP to help get them to where they want to be. And then finally, this program will come with AED certification so that they'll become a part of a select group of AED certified leaders. Time commitment. This is a 1-year program. It begins in July of this year. We have 3 3-day sessions, live sessions, where all the program participants will come together. So those are in July, November, and March. July 2018, we will send out to all participants that they'll actually complete a short form 360 so they can measure their growth over the course of the year. We're also going to have 4 monthly webinars between sessions. These will cover additional topics that we weren't able to get to in the live sessions, and it's also going to keep participants tied to the program throughout the course of the year. We'll have check-ins with coaches that will be as necessary. The instructors will always be available for content-specific questions, and the coaches will be available for broader leadership or management-related issues that may come up. And then finally, like I've mentioned, the capstone projects, where everybody is going to come together and present. They're going to collaborate, and I'll get into the capstones a little bit later, but they're going to generate their project. Actually, they have to generate, measurable results within your dealership. And just, I did not mention that here, but all sessions will be held here at AED in Schaumburg. Okay, so I'm going to go over each session. You guys have probably seen the program brochures. You've probably seen things from our regional managers. This goes a little bit more in depth as to what they're going to be going over each session. So this is a tentative agenda. Like I said, a little bit of a deeper dive into each session. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because you guys can, you can look at this presentation. You can look at the topics. So I'm just going to do kind of a high level overview. So session 1, like I said, is in July. So these are 2.5, they're full day sessions. I'm sorry, 2 full day sessions, 1 half day session. So day 1, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So of course we'll welcome everybody. We'll go over the program highlights. We'll review the capstone, and then they're going to jump right into it. So an industry outlook, an overview of what leadership is, leadership versus management, how they should be working with their coach, an overview of the assessments that they're going to take, and then we jump right into value chain and lean. And day 2, so the first session, day 2, they're going to focus on something that we're calling, that our instructor calls relational capital. So they're really going to be focusing on how they build relationships, not only within their own teams and their own organizations, but also with outside customers and business contacts. So that'll be day 2. And then finally, day 3, like I said, is a half day. So it'll be a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for each session. So this would be Friday, July 14th. We'll be going over strategic planning, setting SMART goals, and sales. I'm calling this Intersession 1. So what are the participants doing in between the live sessions? In August, we're going to have our first webinar, which is conducting effective initial meetings, presented by Ed Wallace. In August, we have our leadership conference, and I'm going to come back to that in just a second. September, we have our second webinar. October, we'll have a third webinar. And I want to come back to the leadership conference because I feel like there's been some confusion. Some people have been confusing the leadership conference with the Leadership Development Institute. And so I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on the difference between the two. The leadership conference that's in August, that's in Sonoma, California, is a 2-day conference aimed at emerging leaders. And there's going to be 8 to 10 sessions on a variety of topics. LDI is not that. LDI is a comprehensive 1-year program that is going to explore all functions of the business across your dealership. So again, leadership conference is kind of like a quick hit, two days. We used to call it Leadership Academy. So it's that conference model. This is LDI. This is the comprehensive, the 1-year program. Did you have?
Yeah, and just to expand on the leadership conference a little bit, it's if any of you have ever been to the executive forum or have been to Summit, you can kind of picture leadership conference as as a similar version of the executive forum for a different demographic. These are the up and coming talent within the dealership. It's a chance for them to kind of get together for a couple days with different folks from across the industry, from across the country, who carry different product lines and really kind of learn some things that they may not hear when they go back to the OEM for their annual training or whatever it may be. Kind of gets them out of that OEM specific or product line specific groupthink, and kind of expands their perspective a little bit. But it is definitely geared towards the young at heart. And I know a lot of you guys here on the participant list actually have folks that have participated in the conference before. So that's just a little bit to expand on that conference. So.
Thanks. Okay, session 2 will be in November. November is really going to be focused on finance, so they're gonna get a deep dive into finance, so you can see financial reporting, everything from the balance sheet to P&Ls to applying KPIs to grow the dealership, fleet management, and then again, like I said, day 1 is a deep dive into finance, so cost, expense control, and tax. Day 2, we're going to have, and I'll go into the instructors later as well, who is going to be teaching your employees. Day 2 is going to focus on legal and HR, so we'll have an employment law update so that everybody needs to be up to date on that. how to avoid conflict and conflict management, because as you know, within any large organization, conflicts are bound to arise. And then we'll get into HR. So, you know, company culture, how you manage performance and set goals. We'll get into compensation and a little bit more on the conflict. And then day 3, we'll wrap up human resources with hiring and talent management. And, you know, I know workforce development is something that's on everybody's mind, and so we'll get into that a little bit as well. We won't have a webinar in December. In January, we plan on bringing all the LDI participants together for, you know, like a lunch or a dinner. So they will get together at Summit in January. And then February, they'll have another webinar. We're leaving that open right now so that we can get some more feedback from our participants. You know, what do they need? What do they need, or what do they want more information on? So we're leaving that kind of open right now based on their feedback. Session 3, we're going to get into rental, rent to sell versus rent to rent. I know rental is a hot topic right now, and operational perspective. So the parts department, service department, breaking down those silos and building organizational culture. Session 3, they will also present their capstone final presentation. So they will be presenting to the rest of the group their presentation. I'll get into a little bit more detail with that. And then finally, day 3, you know, we're going to wrap it up. We'll review the program. We'll go over the Leadership Excellence 360 that they're going to take in July. So that's a shorter version of that initial 360 that we have them complete, so they can measure their growth. And we'll talk about next steps in their development as a leader. So who are the instructors? Let's get into that. So first of all, we have Rex Collins. These names should be familiar to a lot of you. Rex is going to be teaching all the finance portion of our program, and his bio's there. We've got Larry Kay, who's going to be rental and operations. Maureen Murphy, who is part of Copon Erdo, which is AED's legal counsel. She'll be handling the legal update. Patsy Savari, who is an organizational development expert, will be moderating the program and also handling the HR aspect of the training. And then finally, we have Ed Wallace, who's going to come in, and he's teaching that first session, or that first day, on relational capital and building relationships. In addition to the instructors who will be actually available at every single session, our core instructors are Patsy, Rex, and Larry. They are going to be at each of the 3 sessions. We have executive coaches, so every at the start of the program, every participant will have their own coach, and like I said, participants with their coaches will put together an individual development plan based on their conversations, based on the results of the assessments that our participants take at the start of the program. Keynote speakers, we're also planning on bringing in some keynotes throughout the program, and these will be, these are still TBD, but they will be from, you know, AED's recognized leaders. So, you know, former chairmen, people important within the industry. Just a brief overview of the assessments that they're going to take. So I mentioned the feedback assessment, the short form that they're going to take at the end of the program. They're going to take it's called a preview assessment, and that's going to measure them against the dealer executive benchmark. And then there's just a couple others that we're going to give them, and I'm not going to get into too much because that's what they're going to learn about, but it'll just kind of give them a foundation of where they're at as a leader. All right, capstone project. So we're really excited about the capstone. This is really the key feature, because it's one thing to learn about all these things about finance and rental and operations and all that, but it's another thing to actually kind of wrap it all up and put it all into practice and apply that knowledge. So participants will be working in groups. So I'll just start at session 1. They're going to get into teams, and each participant is going to conduct research at their own dealership, and we have we're calling it the CAPSTONE assessment form, things that they need to look at. From this assessment, they're going to prepare and present a virtual tour of their dealership at session 2. They're going to identify areas for improvement and then present that at session 3. So real quick, we are going to target $500,000 in improvements. So that's going to be their target objective during this presentation. And we picked $500,000 because, you know, a larger project, something that would be like $1 million and up, would take longer, and it's kind of out of the LDI time frame. So something that's a quick $500,000 would give them a quick success and a process that they can replicate later. So, you know, that's actually it. You know, I just want to say we've developed this at the members' request. Like Phil said, there's really nothing out there right now that's like this. This was developed for dealerships with the input and guidance of both you guys, the dealers, and the OEMs. It is industry specific, and I know that there are across the country many colleges and universities that have mini MBA programs that are similar to this, but those also come with the university price tag. So we're really excited to be able to offer this program to our members, like I said, that is specific to you guys and your business model. So.
Yep. So the cost to enroll per person is $5,000. Like I said, it does kick off in July, and it's a year-long program. So it's pretty valuable. I see one of the people on the call right now is Ben Garten, who just graduated with his MBA. Congratulations, Ben. And it sounds pretty similar to what Ben just went through. It was module based, and it was over the course of a long while, and it, like Liz said, a lot of universities are doing this. Yep, 2 years, he says. So this is a condensed version, heavy hitting, industry specific, for about $20,000 to $30,000 cheaper, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I mean, if, like I said in my Outlook invitation, if succession planning and strengthening your talent bench and just preparing the next generation of the dealership leadership team is something that you are looking at right now from a planning perspective and just preparing for the future, this is something that you'll definitely want to consider. And like I said, space is pretty limited for this. We only have how many spots available?
20.
20 spots available.
Yep.
I believe we're up to 5 right now. So it's something that if you're going to do, you might as well just enroll now, since it does kick off in July. It's right around the corner with construction season starting up for a lot of you guys. So if there's any questions about this, feel free to add them here in the IM. Shoot me an email, give me a call, shoot me a text. You guys should all have my contact info. But also, I just wanted to just throw a poll up. All the results are going to be anonymous. And if you guys could just let me know one way or another. So if you guys are interested in enrolling in it or having someone from your company enroll in it, then we can I can reach out to you. We can get that started for you. So give me just 1 second here. And if you could just respond to that poll so I know, and it kind of helps us out, and I'll follow up accordingly. But in the meantime, feel free to let me know what you think, if we're heading in the right direction with this, if we're not, and we'll definitely respond accordingly. Also, some of you may not have met Liz before. She's been with us for about 5 months, 6 months. Mm-hmm. So she's really taking charge of developing AED's educational opportunities. If there's anything that you would like to see us offer, or any different topics that you'd like to see us approach for webinars, I know I've gotten some pretty great feedback from some of the dealers out west about some of the things they'd like to see offered online, or even at some of our conferences, let us know, and Liz can handle that accordingly. So,
Yeah.
Other than that, thanks for your time. We will. I'll stick around for a few minutes, but other than that, thanks for taking the time out of the day to participate in this, and looking forward to seeing you guys here over the course of next year. Thanks.
I'll stay tuned.